Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. It is March 14th, 2026. I hope the day has treated you kindly, everyone. So, the curator is saying she needs her medicine. He's calling her an adversary, and he says she advertises herself. I had a vision, a face with a bloody holes where the eyeballs used to be, and the nose too. A couple of days ago, I heard someone unseen say they were going for the eyes. I don't know who they are, and I don't know who was speaking. So, a number of years ago, I was drawn to the depths, like the lower, like under the ground and such, where a woman was strapped to a surgical table and her eyes were clamped open, and it looked to be as though they were about ready to take her eyeballs. And then I was kind of moved out of that situation. So for some time after I had that experience, I heard a very big sounding unseen masculine telling me that he was going to take my eyes and give them to his wife. So they tormented me with that threat for some time. There's something about a high priest of Shalah. Shalah means if God wills. Shalah means to be at ease, secure, or tranquil. This magistrate and her protector seem to be high priestess and high priest, here to manifest God's will. Source connected. And I'm speaking of a singular pair, but there are many of you out there. So, yeah. There are religious men who are furious. The curator was saying that everyone was transferred last night, which would have been March 13th, 2026. When you add those numbers together, it is an 8. God stated some time ago that these ones were going to be the new fodder. Something special happened August 8th, 2024. And so the Lionsgate date. And it appears that perhaps these ones have been transferred in, maybe through that gate, as new fodder. I don't know. Take it as it resonates. So the curator is still talking to his interdimensional guides about fellatio, which is oral sex on a penis. They want to capture a woman and force her to perform orally on their appendage. They say that you, if this is for you, have no idea what happens to the magistrate. And God said that these ones won't be taking anything from her again, nor will they obtain her form in any fashion, energetic, physical. Those days are over. Should they attempt to harm this woman, they have no idea what shall happen to them. They are responsible for everything that they have put into her mirror, her energy. As long as these ones are here talking, they are a known threat. They appear to be like that wild boy from the Cherokee corn woman story, sneaking around the territory, feeling around the gates, the borders, looking for a hole that they can wiggle in through because they've been denied access. They complain about maximum security. They insist that they will destroy this woman and claim this territory and all souls there. They have claimed that they believe she won't last 1 year. These boogeymen appear to be getting their asses handed to them, and they blame this magistrate for surviving what they assumed was an impossible life path. They want her blood. They want to consume her and take over her identity. They want her gone because she has evicted them out of this territory. She has taken away their free housing. She has taken away their free paychecks, and she's not allowing them near the children's or the souls of this collective. They're furious about it. They want that money back, and they want that territory back. And they want to do her some serious harm. Apparently, they've tortured her to death many times. We've been in this position many times. There has been a threat that they're going to do worse to her than they've done to Jesus. And, that her partner will choose somebody else. So, there's, of course, this is how they've been operating. This is their go-to. And they're mad because she's not allowing that kind of behavior. And they want to take her out again. But this is the last time it's been said that they shall never take anything from her again. The royal mother stated that they won't obtain her and that they won't survive trying. She's no longer alone. The crown and the root have been bridged, and this tree will not be removed again. There's a guarantee. And it's so interesting how she could be hated by so many simply for choosing who it is she wishes to share the Dharma with, the wealth earned through suffering. These pirates think that she owes them. Isn't that something? These masculines insist that because they have done it so many times before, that they are going to do it again. They're delusional, psychotic even. And it doesn't seem that the original people are going to be so kind and loving towards the uninvited guests this chapter. The invitation for collaboration nearly destroyed the original human species. These human traffickers are concerned about democracy. They're upset because she won't share the souls of the territory with them. And she won't give the wealth that belongs to the souls in the territory to them. They try to spin the story that she wants to dominate the world. No, she's tired of these entities consuming souls. It's been a long, many centuries for many of you divine feminines out there, and you masculines. They're saying that they have to do something, and somebody wants to look like her. These ones don't love their own life. They're not capable of building their own character. They must leech an identity concept from somebody who is able to build their own character and add value to their own soul. They're saying again that they have to do something. They're talking about her reputation. Somebody's asking about a virgin, whether she is a virgin. She is virginal. She is pure. And they're saying something about $5,000 a piece. $5,000 a piece. Now, I don't know what that means. Perhaps you do. There's something about the Russians and the United States of America. And they're talking about rumors about how she's the energizer. There's something about millions of people. And there's something going on with the ICE agents. It appears they've got another doppelganger. And they may be going after the spiritual identity of a person. May she be heavily protected. And may all attempts against her soul and identity be met harshly. They could be stalking a 3D character also. That's so big, someone exclaimed. I have no idea what it was. There's something about a whopping puzzle regarding truth. There seems to be a sliding scale for atrocity. There appears to be 4 different categories from level 1 through 4 of evil schemes. So the curator is talking about the most highly created creature. The curator was put in charge of transforming or transitioning the woman character into the man character into one androgynous character. He wanted to be the manufacturer of the most highly created creature, but the thing is that he doesn't create. He walks into a creator's body, and then he uses that mind and the access to those upper dimensional spaces to mutate creation. And he did so with CRISPR technology and this genetic mixing with other species. And he was trying to create an unbeatable army. And apparently this magistrate, this daughter of this upper dimensional father, is the most highly created creature. She overcame all of these covens of sorcerers, all of their Jezebels and their orgy magic, all of the demons and the devils that they sent to consume her, or all of the death energy that they placed into her, she alchemized. All of the mental magic that they meant to get her institutionalized with, she reformatted. The organic original human being is the most highly created creature. They are angel and they are beast. They are root and they are crown. They are the planetary stabilizers. They evolve with every trauma, with every challenge. The magistrate is an upper dimensional soprano, a daughter of a god or a king, the lion. Level 47 from previous messaging, and possibly greater now, after all of the challenges she overcame, what they believed to be an impossible path. These folks were level 47 darkness, according to what I understand. They were in suffering, and they were praying for relief, so God sent his daughter. She came from level 47. Temperance. And rather than stay there, they decided to do what they do, and they decided to flip her, twist her, and drop her. While they mimicked her and wore her energy, looked just like her, and was up there playing an act. She was here to provide temperance, to provide ease and grace, housing and financials, just as she's doing now, in this territory that they no longer have access to. They crucified her, they burned her alive many times, according to the curator, because they didn't like her ethical or her moral boundaries and the requirements for charity. So they unalived her, stole her identity and her wealth, and turned everyone into a prostitute, and drove all high vibrational people connected to Source into poverty, into insanity. They went against the Most High and his daughter, his representative. He left her in charge of a program, and these guys decided that they didn't want her in charge, and they unalived her, and they've been torturing her to death for centuries. But God's back. The bridge was mended. The crown and the root are unified. Her soul is back online, and her heavenly Father is delivering wrath. The curse has been broken. These traffickers hate her so much for surviving, for being seen, and for being identifiable. Most of all, they hate that God has sanctified her. He has washed her clean of the sin these nasties laid upon her, sin that was not hers to bear. They covered her in the shame and the blame of their own existence, and they said it was her. They wore her face, they looked just like her, and they participated in orgies and other heinous things, and they broadcasted it throughout the universe. She is the universal gatekeeper, the daughter of an upper dimensional God. They're mad that he purified her, but it was not her sin to carry. She doesn't do those things. They've been layering her energy field with the filth, with their stupid transference of sin magic and stuff. These men and their helpers owe her a great debt, and they will pay. According to God, they will get what they deserve, and everything that they've taken is going to be coming back. And again, I'm speaking singular, but there are many. So I had a visual of an Irish setter, a beautiful doggy, and it looked like it was getting a toy or a snack. So these nasties, for some reason, love to sacrifice beings who have red hair and fur. Their god, Baal or Moloch or whatever. I pray that all souls of these all animals and every innocent being be protected and never, ever, ever, number one, feel any of the pain that these ones are trying to inflict, and number two, may their soul be receiving a mighty shield and claimed by God. Rainbow Covenant, gifter. The curator mentioned Zionists, and these nasties are calling the mother a fallen worm. And I thought, isn't that something? These fellas are the ones with the worm attached to their bodies, and they are RAPing everybody with it. These parasitical RAPists calling the mother a fallen worm. But then, according to Google, after I Googled it, a fallen worm means the fall army worm. The fall army worm. A destructive agricultural pest caterpillar that travels in large hordes and destroys crops known scientifically for its larval stage and appetite. Are they suggesting that the mother has released the locusts? The fall army worm. They're calling the mother the fallen worm, the fall army worm. I don't know, man. But apparently she's released the locusts. In Revelation 9:3-11, it states a demonic plague released from the abyss during the 5th trumpet judgment, symbolizing divine judgment and torment upon those without God's seal. They tortured this woman to death many, many times for centuries. They put her in hell. They had her in a fiery abyss. She had to climb up out of it, be resurrected, reborn. She kept reincarnating to come back and try and try and try again. And finally she made it. And these ones are furious. And now she's released the locusts. They lost their dream come true by coming for this woman. It appears the back door has been officially closed. That energy had violent tendencies. I had a vision. Somebody seated on a curb. They're passing out candy. They're trying to draw the youngsters in using sweets. These fellas were talking about chloroform, which is a human carcinogen, toxic if inhaled or digested, used by some as a sedative, a knockout drug. They're luring the children in with sweets, and they're using chloroform. These ones need a new body. They need a temple. So be wary of anyone getting too close to you or your children. God wants to be done by the end of September, or an upper divine commander, general, whatever. These men and their helpers need to get into a host. They need to change their identity. They call it stepping in, and they've talked about gently unaliving folks in the past to walk in to their bodies. So may the Most High and all family be extra alert to these attempts. Anybody getting too close to you. God said this is the end for them using us to maintain their own existence. Well, I'll see how it goes. It's like these entities are in the 4D as ghosts. They're messing around with us in the 3D. They need a host. They want a powerful host. They want somebody who has massive authority and energy. They're talking about prostitution and circumcision. The young baby girl gets RAP'd by full-grown men, which spiritually and fractures her and her soul, her mind, and her image of what daddy is. Circumcision without pain medicines, because the babies are too young for that. Their kidneys can't handle it, causing mental fracturing, this pain, this jolt of mind-numbing pain that goes through them when their intimate parts are cut with knives. And these priests, they like that BLOOD, some of them. It fractures the mental body of the baby. I don't know why they like to do this to the children. I just don't. Except that it must be obvious. They like to drive the minds of people. And if they can fracture the minds of the children, then they can more easily drive their life. And then cast the illusion, using their own energy, that that's what they chose for their life. And that's all they'll ever be. These men consider what they do to us responsible management of their slaves. These guys messed everybody up so that they could better control them and cast the illusion over who they are and who they chose to be. They are saying it has to be a relationship. They need an entanglement, a contract, an agreement. in exchange in order to command somebody else's shit, their wealth, their energy, their soul value, in order to wear the identity, in order to play in the consciousness, in order to use the temple and the mind as a bridge into the upper dimensional spaces. These lower vibrational masculines really like to target women and children because they can attach them, especially if they're a bright light, if they belong in those upper dimensional spaces and they deflower them or cord them or tag them, they can use their mind as such to get up in there and do things, and they call them espionage kids. So they claim the identity of the one that they have violated. They use their mind and their temple as a bridge to the upper dimensional space of their soul tribe nation, and then they put in a spy who shapeshifts into the image, and then they're called espionage kids. That just came across the other day. So they need a relationship in order to transfer soul value and all that good stuff. So these parasitical entities need a new host. They need to change their identities. They need to hide. So these are body snatching ghosts, these Agent Smiths, these principalities. By poisoning folks and giving them alcohol and drugs to open the gates of your rainbow chakra, to release the hold or the command over your mind, these disembodied entities can come in through the gates and then be in your temple having a great time. They ride your chakra system and your mind to go up into these upper dimensional spaces and have parties, gale times. And it's really sad because when they capture a soul as a prisoner of war, they kind of damage it and then they keep it in a loop and they unalive it before it ever comes fully consciousness. But we've had some breakthroughs, so the truth is revealed, right? These are disembodied ghosts. These are the principalities that the Bible states we are wrestling against. There's governments that appear to have an arrangement with these disembodied principalities because they have legalized alcohol and it's legal while they criminalize plant medicines. It's strange to me but this is why. It releases the control of the consciousness. It opens up all of the gates, and then these principalities can come in and have a great time, and then they can cause havoc once they get this connection, this hook, this whatever, and they can ride the ladder into these upper dimensional spaces and cause havoc, right? And some of them wear your energy in your face. And once they get in, then they can drive your cravings, right? Your needs, your urges. They can make you think that it's you. There's a lot of these injections that people get every year for flu season and whatnot, right? And nobody ever looks at the ingredients and nobody ever asks. And there's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of failure in the temples of people. The one who's in charge of this vaccination program is Gates. I believe that the mission is to permanently open the gates of this temple and also to transition the mother into more of a masculine energy and the father into more of a feminine energy, and then merge them into one flesh temple of androgynous where the gates are constantly open. I think that's what their goal was. And it still is. There's survivors still out there trying to lure children in with sweets so that they can chloroform them and then take them in for a transfer ritual or whatever. Become an espionage kid. So They attack the susceptible youth at, when they're like, what, 13, 14, and they get the keggers and they go into these keggers and they start drinking, and right away the freaking gates are open. Right at puberty, right when they're transitioning from a teenager into adulthood, right? Or, stepping it up anyway. So they open the gates and they loosen and then all of a sudden they call it hormonal changes. And I believe this is why so many youth are chaotic, because of this kind of behavior, that they go in and they open the gates, and then right away, boom, they're tagged. And a lot of these folks were molested as children or youth, right? So they were kind of driven. Yeah. So I truly believe that this kind of wildness of the youth, I feel a lot of it is due to these alcohol and things. And there's molestation, because it fractures, and this circumcision, because it fractures the mind. I'm not sure what kind of gate that opens. So I believe all the emotional issues, they're not necessarily a hormonal shift. It's a trap meant to feed the dead, those demons who do the bidding of sorcerers and witches for pennies, a few bucks, a few treats. So now it appears that these beings are being rewarded to protect rather than harm. And thanks be to the Most High, who grants Rainbow Covenant and gifts of the light and the love of life. Amen. These governing masculines dare to lecture anyone on responsibility. These fellows got lost in their own game, it seems. They made deals with the devil, and it required trading places with the living and the dead. They were swapping, just like they were trying to swap genders, but they weren't really trying to swap them. They were trying to merge them. And they were causing friction, this competition, this weird mental thing. So they need a body. They need to walk in here because they made deals with the devil, and it required trading places of the living and the dead to kick an actual living person out of their body and then give it to a walk-in. And then they have a new slave, somebody who will do their bidding, or somebody who will master them. So after they get rid of the rebel who was speaking freely, the rebel who insisted on being a sovereign being, these men are upset, and they call this woman a truth teller, and they are going mad over her accuracy. So they're talking about an oracle, a prophetess. They've been talking about the days of Mesopotamia. They've been talking about religion, and this was just the other day. A daughter of a king who was set to merge religions, and then they took her out, and then all this other religion stuff was birthed, and no women were allowed. They're saying something is Neolithic, the final stage of the Stone Age, roughly 9,000 to 3,000 BCE, characterized by the development of agricultural, sedentary, permanent settlements, polished stone tools, and pottery. Nomadic hunting transitioned into farming. The final division of the Stone Age in Mesopotamia, Asia, Europe, and Africa. They were talking of Mesopotamia the other day. A princess was placed as head of a program meant to unite the Sumerian religion with the Akkadian religion. Her father, the king, had put her in charge of this. It was meant to fortify the rule or whatever. It appears that they sacrificed her, they assassinated her, and then replaced her. It's like they accused her of a crime and then deceitfully convicted her and then took her life. And they've been having her in a loop of torment and torture for centuries. Loneliness. impossibility. So, yeah, she's been burned alive many times for not renouncing her divine connections to Source. Even though they may have damaged her memories and such, she never did give up those connections. Even though they dimmed her light and starved her connections, cursed her with separation, God found her and resurrected her and stuck her back in her position. So she refused to renounce her divine connections, even while these ones cursed her and took away those connections. She remained a true royal, always loyal, in her heart, in her mind. She may have been waiting lifetime after lifetime. And these religious men, she refused. So they took over and they reformatted religion. And it appears that her father may be yanking these fellows' chains. No more will they harm her, and she was innocent of any crime. She was innocent, and she has spent centuries layered in the blame and the shame of these ones' karmic life. They've been transferring their own freaking orgy crap and their blood rituals and all of this other nastiness onto her, because they've been playing in the energy. So they use that energy to do this baneful magic, and they've been layering her in the blame and the shame of it. And then they've been getting rid of her before she can wake up to the knowing of it, right? So, but now, not this time. Not this time. Not this time. These men have been RAPing the souls of her family for thousands of years. And I didn't realize this is what they, years ago, they were laughing and they were making fun of me because I was in misery while they were RAPing my mind, my mentality. And it was very, very challenging to move through it and remain sane, guys. It was horrid. Imagine yourself in a room and you got hundreds of guys in there, and they're like shoulder to shoulder, and they're pushing in on you with their energy and their voice, and they're calling you every foul thing, and they're telling you what they're going to do to you and what their fantasy is about tormenting you and all this stuff. And it's not only on your brain, but they split the brain and then they do it to both halves. It's double for your pleasure, double for your fun, right? So it's big, and then they split it, and then they double it, and it's intense, man. It's intense. They do their best to destroy the minds of prophetesses, of oracles, especially those who are of high value and of upper dimensional status. Those are the ones who suffer the greatest, it appears. The curse has been broken. She is emancipated, free of their binding. That means anyone helping her, protecting her, are free also, and they're probably getting paid very well and given compensation for their services. These warlords are getting evicted by beings far greater than them. They lost their super weapon, their captive. They lost their energy supply and their bridge and connector to those upper dimensional Star Nation soul tribes. The gifts that they stole and used to harm those that she loved, and used her as a bridge to her Star Nation soul tribe to harm others, to unalive them and throw them back out into a lower vibrational state of suffering. Wearing her energy, her face, and her identity. They were tormenting people up there. So they are all going to suffer greatly for this betrayal. God stated that they will get what they deserve. There's talk of someone using psalms to curse people. And apparently they were doing it as a favor to somebody else. These folks curse others that they don't even know, based on a story they're told, or somebody else's desire. They do their bidding. And it could very well be because they're a walk-in. They're beholden to the one who allowed this existence to occur for them. So they do the favor for somebody that made it possible for them to be there, and then they don't care. So I don't believe these are actual human being masculines. It appears that these are tyrant devils using their religion to destroy innocent people's lives. These ones are the epiphany of a threat to society, because while they pretend on the surface to be helping people, in the shadows they're cursing them with the psalms as a favor to somebody. These are supposed to be godly people. So they're doing work to force the members of a community to fail, to be in poverty, to be in lack. And they're calling themselves men of God. They're calling themselves leaders. They're calling themselves men, fathers, brothers, husbands, guardians. If they aren't getting paid, but doing it as a favor, it appears to me that that would be worse, but that's my immediate perception, because they didn't do it for pay. They did it for fun. They were fully behind, causing suffering for another as a favor to someone. So these religious goons, they hate women. They've been saying that they're going to have to put up with the Marys for a while. The Marys who have the portal connected to all upper dimensional star nation soul tribes, who grow those beings who want to come here for an experience. She grows their little bones, their hearts, their lungs, everything, or their brains in her womb, and then tears her body and sheds her blood while giving them life. It's wild, man. That they're jealous of everything God gave her to supply this newborn life what it needs to become the greatest version of itself. But you got these masculines who kind of hijack the system, right? You got to leave the baby in the other room crying. You can't go in and hold it. They kind of took charge of the mothering and all of that. Kind of made her a nothing. It's weird to me, and I hope that it ends quickly. This is the message, and I'll see you on the next one, everybody. Bye.